I want to take a couple minutes here to just talk about tree diagrams. We've used tree diagrams before, and we can use tree diagrams to actually find the actual sample space. We can use fundamental counting principle to find out how many outcomes are in our sample space. A tree diagram is a good way to actually find those outcomes. So let's take this experiment here. We're going to spin a spinner that has 4 outcomes, A, B, C, or D. We're going to flip a coin that has 2 outcomes, and we're going to draw a card that are from 3 cards numbered 1, 2, and 3. If we use fundamental counting principle, we have 4 times 2 times 3. So we should have 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 3 is 24. We should have a total of 24 outcomes in our sample space. So let's take a look at this. Our first event was spinning the spinner that had 4 outcomes. So when we do that, we're going to need 4 branches on our tree diagram. We're going to need 1 for the outcome of A, 1 for the outcome of B, C, and D, and so on. Our second event was flipping the coin. There's 2 outcomes for flipping a coin, heads or tails. So off of each one of these, we need to go ahead and put those 2 outcomes, because it's possible for us to spin and pick an A and then flip the coin and get a heads or tails. And the same thing if we spun and got a B, we could still flip and get a heads or a tails. Our next choice is we have to draw one of those 3 cards. So on the end of each one of these branches, we're going to have to put 3 outcomes, the cards 1, 2, and 3. So there's our tree. When we start at the origin and we follow each branch to the end, those are our individual outcomes. One of the possible outcomes could be we'd get an A, heads, and a 1. We could also get an A, heads, and a 2, an A, heads, and a 3. So if we follow out each one of these branches and record them as we do, we're going to discover that these are the outcomes in our sample space. So if you need to know the actual outcomes, a tree diagram is a good way to do it. We've done them before. Just take your time when you're drawing them. Think about your outcomes. Make sure you have the correct number of branches, and take your time when you're actually writing down the outcomes.